Good morning. My name is Jonathan, and I will be teaching you how to properly service your bike. Did you know that over 51 million people just in the United States alone ride bikes? That might not be every day, but it is important to know how to actually service your bike. The first thing we'll be talking about is cleaning. The first thing you should do is clean your whole bike with something like Muck Off or a Park Tool type of cleaner. This basically is just cleaning your entire bike, spraying your entire bike off and then cleaning it with a hose or something like that, but not a high pressure one if you have an electric bike. After that, you'll want to use Park Tool cleaners to clean your chain, and basically what you do is you run your chain through these brushes that Park Tool gives you, and you clean your entire chain. After that, you can use Park Tool cassette cleaners so that you can get all of those gears not dirty, because a lot of different dust and grime and everything can stick to your cassette and make it not shift right. After that, you'll want to get some sort of brake cleaner so that you can go through your entire brake system and clean all of that off. After that, we'll be talking about proper lubrication after you clean your bike. The first thing to do is lubricate your chain with the same type of Muck Off, not cleaner this time, but I recommend doing a dry lube because we do live in Arizona and it's very dusty, so if you use a wet lube, it can actually get even more stuff all over your chain. The next thing to do is check your headset, which you can use by squeezing the front brake and shifting your weight forward and backward to see if your headset is loose on your fork, because that can be really bad. You can damage your head tube when it's actually loose. The next thing would be checking your bottom bracket. You can do this in a couple different ways. My favorite way is locking that back wheel up with your left brake or your rear brake and kind of just moving your crank or your pedal forward to see if your bottom bracket is loose at all, and then you can see if it's loose. If it is loose, then you'll want to tighten it immediately because you can actually damage the threads down there, or if it is a press-in bottom bracket, you can still damage the actual tube down there. After that, you'll want to check pedals and other small components so that you can see if your pedal's going to fall off or something like that during a ride, which won't be good because then you'll be stuck walking home. The next thing that we will be talking about is your tires. Checking your tires is super important because you don't want to have any blowouts or anything like that happening when you're going on a ride, or let's say mountain biking, you're going down a super steep trail. You don't want one of your tires to blow out. The first thing you'll want to do is kind of just squeeze your tires and check for cracks, or even just check for wear on tread, because once you get lower than, once you can't see the tread anymore, it's probably a good idea to change out your tires. The other thing is that before every single ride, you should be airing up your tires to make sure they're in between the little bracket that it says on your tire. Normally it'll say something like 40 to 60, and you'll want to go somewhere in between the two. If you're wanting to get a lot of grip or something like that on a trail, then you'll normally want to go lower of the two. The next thing we will be talking about is brake adjustments and derailleur adjustments. You want to make sure that your brakes aren't rubbing, because if they are, they can make it harder to ride. And you also want to check if they're actually grabbing or not, because sometimes you can get that lube that I was talking about earlier on your brake rotor, and that wouldn't be good because then you can't stop as well. The other thing that we want to talk about is how to actually adjust your brakes. We'll be talking about rim brakes in this specific part of this video because those are the most common. Those are the ones that squeeze on your actual rim brake. There's a screw on either side that basically pushes a spring, and what you'll want to do is if it's rubbing on, let's say, the right side, then you'll want to screw the one in on the right side so that it pushes that brake a little bit over so that it's not rubbing on that side of the rim. The other thing that you'll want to look at is your gears. We will be talking about specifically rear derailleurs in this part, and the best way to do that is there is a high and a low. The high side will actually be the smaller set of gears, and the low side will be the higher set of gears. When you want to adjust those two, let's say it's not going up to low, then you'll want to screw the high side in a little bit. If it's not going to high, then you'll want to screw the low screw in a little bit. The other thing that you want to check is cable tension. Cable tension is how hard the derailleur is actually being pulled to go up into those gears. If it's falling into the lower side, then you'll want to add more. If it's not falling, then you want to take off a little bit of slack. In conclusion, there are many parts to look over on any type of bike, and it's important to get these checked frequently. If you can't check them, then I would recommend bringing it into your local bike shop so that you can have everything serviced properly. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was helmets, lights, and a to-go pack. It's important to have all these things so that you are safe and you can continue riding on the trail. In a normal to-go pack, what you'll want to have is a few tubes and something like that, as well as hydration and things to keep you energized, basically. So you'll want to have like little gummies that have electrolytes or something like that. But that was how you service a bike. Thank you.